In this part we explore a new section of old track. No one has driven this for a long time and the going is very punishing. Does this mean we will find more treasures? Hang around and find out. We are currently following this section of track through some very dense bush. The aim is to try to find a campsite to set up for a couple of days. We are trying to make it to the 74-mile camp as shown on this map, but the rough going will prove too much and the risk of more damage than we can tolerate is too great. Just to provide some context about what this bush looks like and how hard it is to drive through, I've decided to keep this in and we are now playing it at 20 times the speed, and you can see how dense the bush is and the effort we have to go through to get past some of the really dense scrub. Now, this is where we've made camp for a couple of days. We couldn't drive any further forward without doing massive roadworks, so we decided to pitch camp here. This is our firelighter box. If ever you have the opportunity to buy these redhead firelighters, what'd you do that for?
I don't know. I did not do that.
This tree is called the ribbon bark tree because of the bark that comes off in ribbons in summer and late autumn. Eucalyptus sheathiana. This tree here is called a dead tree, Eucalyptus fuctiana, and it's common around this area, especially after bushfires. Out here there are a couple of old bottles that are lying around. JDKZ gin bottle or schnapps bottle. Looks like one of the quart bottle. Sad that these get broken. Well, that's actually interesting. It looks like Mitchell and Co. Belfast, so it's not from Ireland. A small camp extends around over there, past our camp and into there, and it's relatively small. And I think it was because that when we walked down this way a bit further, the country has changed and there's some large rocky outcrops that they've pushed the roller line through. And I think that was the reason why the camp was here, so that they could build the track through these rocks. Yeah, this is a large rock for some reason they've chosen to go through. A pile of stones there laid out. On both sides there's a little rock wall there, a little rock wall there, and the track comes through. A little bit of a cutting before it opens out again onto a small clay pan. And even on the top end of this clay pan there are some old tin cans that have been dumped in the bush, and there is also this large container which once would have had some sort of fuel, whether it was kerosene or petrol, Texaco. Old axe head in the bush. It's maybe been used as a wedge as well because it's been fairly well hammered on the top. Another axe head in the ground. This one's got a V stamped in it. That tree there, I think, is a blackbutt. Gets its name from the black bark on the base of the tree. This is a gimlet, and usually given away by the strange shape in the trunk, which apparently looks like a carpenter's gimlet. Either I've come across a very small horse, or these are the heels off a person's boots. There's also a latch from a suitcase or a case. Now there's something interesting. I don't think that's natural. That's someone's formed a curve for a fireplace, and there's definitely ash down the bottom. been a bit of a punishing ride to the end of this spur. It's about 2 kilometres away from the main line that we're camped on, and we're about 5 or 6 k's from where we're actually camped, so it's a long way from home. We found very little evidence of any woodline camps out here. There's a couple of bottles. We found a few bits of broken drays, and there are a couple of car tracks that have come in here and a couple of motorbikes, but that's some time ago. Anyway, there's nothing here. We're going to head back. We did find one camp on the main line. There's a couple of horse troughs there, so we're going to head back that way and have a quick gander. This is sort of some of the scrub we've had to ride through. It's pretty difficult. Motorbikes getting caught up all the time, and we often find obstacles like logs that we've got to ride around. Yeah. It's been bashed on the
back, yeah.
On the back. One axe head, it's actually still pretty sharp.
Is it?
Yeah, very sharp. After riding back from the last place, we've come across a small camp that we missed before, and we found a few bottles. And they're all going to stay here. This is looking at the small camp we've just found. It's very hard following the old rower line because this was just a spur, so it was pretty much laid straight on the bare earth. The main line that we came off has a bit of a formation, but even then they weren't spending a lot of time building that. This is a really big pile of broken bottles. Coo-wee! Stephen's trying to find out where I am. Does he? I don't want it, the glass is broken.
Diets.
Not going to work.
There was a diets. This one I've never seen.
Oh, it's a small one of those
Bottle.
Woods and Sun. Yeah, small one.
Baby one.
Definitely was a lot of bottles back there smashed in the bush. Don't know whether it was done intentionally or they just broke them when they were dumped. But look what I have found. Isn't this a treasure? Seen better days though. Bit of glass.
It's glass tube, yeah. Like a big straw.
Don't know what that's out of.
Yeah. That would have been a nice pot if the rest of it was there.
Pot or kettle? I think it was a kettle. That's where the spout was. Little case.
Fucking sharp. That's a short. Sharp as fuck.
Did you get bitten by a spider?
No. Bitten by a tin.
Long time since someone rode that sucker. Here's the remains of someone's old knife. The rings from a barrel, or barrel rings, whatever the rings are called. There's a big pit. Was that the rower line just there? That's the rower line. I wonder if the bottles go over that side. We should wander over there back to the motorbikes. This track keeps going that way for a few more k's, and it actually hooks up to the current Coolgardie Cave Hill Road. It's a bit hard to tell because this track does have a spur that goes off to my left, which is sort of in the southerly direction, I guess. So there is possibly a set of points somewhere around here, but this is clearly, or it appears to be, a mound for the rower line, a formation. So there's one here, and a few feet over is another one. So I'd say this one here is the main line, and the one over there is the spur, or the start of the spur that goes off towards the south. And it does appear that they're coming into a junction just ahead where that fallen tree is.
Yeah, roger. I found another tilly lamp.
Oh, in good condition?
I've never seen one with a back panel on it.
I'll come over in a sec. Well, here's some real bush tucker. This is a Quandong tree, and sometime in the recent past it's had fruit. There are some on the ground with still the remains of the skin on the outside, and there's a few of the nuts themselves. They're quite small, so it wasn't a good year by the looks of it, but there's a lot of them. Emus eat these, and often it gives them the runs. You see these scattered through the bush in emu poo. I like the nuts and I like the fruit. Look at what Stephen's found. The whole earthenware jug, and it's all been smashed.
Looks like it's all here.
Plus this lantern that has a back on it, which is really interesting. Never ever seen one like that before.
Who's riding on it? I'm looking at that.
Well, here's the lid, or the top of that earthenware pot Stephen found. Cumming Smith & Co. Proprietary Limited, Melbourne. And there is another symbol engraved there. I don't know what it means or what it really is, but it's been painted on.
Guess what this is?
Eh?
Guess what this is?
What is it?
Have a guess.
Bottle?
No. Johnny Walker.
Oh. Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker purple, wow. McClay Duff and Co. We've got two bright red motorbikes, a Honda and both Hondas, one pacey bike, one small one, and in the Australian bush they blend perfectly.
They do.
Completely camouflaged, not to be found.
What's that off?
Oh, that looks like a cotton reel.
That's what I thought to start with, but they were usually... Maybe, oh, I know, that's out of one of those elastic parts.
Yeah, bandage.
Yeah.
Looks like this is the end of the passing track here. There could actually be three tracks. There's one here, one just over there, and one there, the main line. So the one over there on the left hand side I think could possibly be the spur, and this is just a passing track. Or in English terms, a siding. Poor tree's fallen over and part of it is still alive. And a couple of stems growing up here. And a couple more that were growing vertically, but it's peeled off the trunk and just fallen down. So this is what I reckon is the spur, or potentially a spur, and it proves there is a dog spike left behind, and they don't float, so it's not like it's washed down in the water. And this is what I reckon is the passing track. And this is the main line, the one we've been following. Just heading back to our camp now, and behind me is a horse trough and the horse yard. See you there. This has been our little campsite for the last couple of days. We came in from that direction over there and we're going to head out today. Steve and I rode down here yesterday. It doesn't look too bad here, but just up ahead it gets to be very scrubby. It was quite hard on the motorbikes. I end up riding back to camp for 6 kilometres with a puncture. So that's going to be hard work changing that. Our next stop is going to be Burrow Rock, where we intend to go further towards the west to relocate an old dam and a couple of rock holes on top of the rock. So stay tuned for our next episode. Smoking!
Not yet.